Have you woken up after leg day with your lower back just absolutely killing you? Even though you didn't even train your back yesterday, it's from your squats. When your back muscles are too weak to stabilize that weight, they just scream at you for the next 3 days. And it's the same reason sitting at work destroys your back and your neck. It's not the monitor height or the chair. Your back muscles are literally too weak to hold you upright for 8 hours, which ends up with you slouching forward all day, putting even more strain on the muscles that are already failing. So my first year of lifting, I was constantly injured. I'd see guys pulling 3 plates and I think, how hard could that be? So I'd load up 135 pounds only, and I couldn't walk for a week. Classic ego lifting. I was trying to run before I could even crawl. And here's what I didn't understand. Without foundational back strength, you can't maintain proper position under load in many exercises like the deadlift. Because your weak back will lead to your back rounding out, your chest caving in, your glutes can't fire properly because everything is kind of out of alignment. And eventually, that will lead to something giving out.
I broke my back.
A vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
So in this video, I'll break down the 3 best back exercises for beginners to build that proper back foundation. The last exercise actually saved me from my chronic pain sitting on this desk. And we're not touching deadlifts or any of those risky exercises that many beginners rush into and end up injuring themselves. We're gonna focus on building muscle first so we can do those exercises like the rows, the deadlifts, the RDLs, the split squat without risking of injuring yourself. Speaking of injury, if you want to nail every single exercise you ever wondered in the gym correctly, I have a free exercise library and it's the first link in the description. It's a video walkthrough where you can learn every single exercise and how to do them properly so you can avoid injury and speed up the learning curve. Most beginners waste months focusing on isolation exercises in the beginning and they're wondering why they're not seeing any result. If your goal isn't to cover yourself in fake tan so you can step on stage in a pair of Speedos to impress a bunch of other dudes and not call it gay and call it bodybuilding, then you should just stick to compound exercises. Here's why. Your back isn't just one muscle. It's the lats, it's the rhomboids, it's the rear delts, it's your lower back. Trying to hit all of them individually, it's going to take ages. Compound exercises though, they hit all of them in one movement. Isolation exercises, they're really for bodybuilders who already have a big base of muscle and want to sculpt. They're not just trying to get bigger, they're trying to relocate volume with isolation exercises, like less volume to the traps and more to the lats, etc.
Y'all like bodybuilders?
Bodybuilders? Yeah. I like skinny, scrawny guys.
How about multimillionaires? How about talented? How about loving and respectful? I lost my wife 10 weeks ago, 21 years faithful, and I run a 6-minute mile. My testimony, I'm nothing but pure, and you like scrawny guys.
I know he trauma dump on us.
Since the back is such a big muscle group, I still recommend having 3 compound exercises in your program for your back. 1 vertical pull that works on back width, 1 horizontal row that trains back thickness, and 1 hip hinge that trains your lower back strength. For vertical pull, the best exercise for beginner is pull down. I know pull-ups are sexy, but if you're overweight, pull-ups are really difficult. And beginners, whether you're overweight or not, they usually can't do more than 3 pull-ups. And that is not a lot of volume to play with, leaving a lot of gains on the table. With pull-downs, you get precise weight selection. 40 pounds, 50, 55, 60. It makes it easier to add 5 pounds every single week. Easier to progressively overload, add more reps, go to failure, or even do drop sets because you can adjust your weight more precisely. A question I do get a lot though is that should you go wide grip or narrow grip? Technically, wider grip is more lats. Narrow grip is more mid-back and rhomboids, but grip choice is kind of nuanced. Wide grip still hits your mid-back and rhomboids, and narrow grip still hits your lats. As a beginner, don't overthink it. You should pick what feels most comfortable for you, because if you go too narrow, you can feel discomfort in your wrist when going down. If you go too wide, it can be awkward for your shoulders. Another question I do get asked a lot about the pull down is that should you do underhand or overhand grip? Do overhand because underhand you train more biceps and less back muscle than overhand grip. If you're stuck in some CrossFit box with no pull down machines, you can do resistant bands pull-ups. Loop the bands around the bar and just put your knee inside it, and now you got adjustable weight sort of. Just remember, when you finish your sets, watch that the band doesn't snap back to your nuts. Trust me, it happens more common than you think. Not that it ever happened to me though. Most of my clients, they usually progress from pull down or assisted pull-ups to bodyweight pull-ups within 3 months by building back strength and losing weight, which makes pull-ups a lot easier. If you want coaching tailored to your levels and nutrition that speed up that progress, I do offer one-to-one coaching with guaranteed results or money back. If you're interested to see what my clients have achieved or what we offer, check out the second link in the description. Next is the exercise that builds the thick, dense look, a horizontal row. And before you grab a barbell like every gym bro, let me save you from 6 months of back pain. Look, barbell rows are technically the goal for back thickness, but for beginners, they're a one-way ticket to Snap City. And here's the issue with them. You need solid lower back strength to hold the position. Most beginners, they have the back strength of an overcooked spaghetti, end up turning their back exercise into a back injury. Especially since a lot of beginners, they get confused with the barbell row techniques. They walk into the gym and see people doing all kind of rows. We have the wide grip rows, the narrow grip rows, the pendlay rows, the Yate rows. I used to watch all these variation in the beginning, and I was really unsure about the techniques, whether I should have wide grip or underhand grips, or should I be parallel to the grounds or be at a 45 degree. And I ended up doing something in between, and it ended up looking like a hybrid seizure row where I'm basically just training arms and trap and putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on my lower back. That is exactly why the chest supported row machine is the best horizontal row for beginners. With a chest supported row machine, your chest is locked against the pad, so there's zero back stress. The path is fixed so you don't have to overthink your form, and you can actually focus on squeezing your back and building muscle. It's also better than the cable rows because beginners usually turn cable rows into like a full body momentum fest, like they're swinging back and forth like they're rowing a boat.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
The chest supported row machine eliminates all of that. You literally can't cheat. You either pull with your back or the weight doesn't move. Your next best option as a beginner is inverted rows. They're beginner friendly, sure, but here's my issue with them. How do you progressively overload with an inverted row? You could add a weight vest, but it's kind of tricky because it's hard to measure, especially if you're losing weight. Then those inverted rows get easier, so it's harder to measure your progress, whether you're actually getting stronger or just getting lighter. I'm a big fan of exercises where the weight can be scaled because everything that can be measured can be improved, and progressively overload is what is most important for hypertrophy. So we got the vertical pull for width, the horizontal row for back thickness. Then there is hip hinge, and it is for training your lower back strength. It's actually what's most important. The king of posterior chain exercises is the deadlift, but if you don't have the leg strength or the lower back strength yet, skip it. Seriously, because jumping into deadlifts now is like trying to run a marathon when the longest run you've done is running to the fridge. That might be a little bit exaggerated, but you get the gist. I believe the best exercise for lower back strength is hyperextension, and it's actually the exercise that changed my life. So throughout my life, I've always been struggling with lower back pain because I spent my whole life sitting a lot. Growing up, I played a lot of Call of Duty. I was really good. My kill death ratio in Modern Warfare was like 2.6. I even had the nuke emblem, if you remember that. Anyways, when I started working in an office, things didn't get better because desk job isn't really great for your lower back, especially if you work 60 plus hours every week like I did and still do. Your lower back takes a lot of load throughout the day when you're sitting, and having a strong lower back is so important. It's the reason I can go 8 hours every day, even on the weekends, without feeling pain or discomfort or having to adjust my position every 15 minutes like I used to. Hyperextension also helped me fix my posture. It made me stand taller because I'm actually 6'2", but for a long time I looked like I was 5'11" because my posture was so bad. Because when your back is round, your shoulders naturally push forward, but when your back is straight, it naturally pulls back. Nobody have a straight back and forward shoulders. Here's the game plan for hyperextension. Start with bodyweight hyperextension, and you scale them once you can bang out 25 clean reps. Then you could add a 5-pound plate, then a 10-pound plate, and eventually a 25 pounds. Even though hyperextensions is a great placement for deadlifts, especially for beginners, the end goal should be doing deadlifts. And that's the same with pull downs and chest supported rows. These exercises I mentioned, they're just training wheels. The end goal is to do pull-ups instead of pull downs, barbell rows instead of chest supported rows, and deadlifts instead of hyperextensions. Why, you're probably wondering? Because these exercises don't just train your back, they train everything, your core, your stabilizing muscles. But even though when you level up to those exercises, your workout structure should be the same. One vertical pull exercise, one horizontal pull, and one hip, regardless of which levels you are. 3 exercises, that is it, which only takes 30 minutes to do every single week, versus a 2-hour back exercise blast you see bodybuilders do on Instagram. I see a lot of guys wasting their time in the gym following bodybuilder programs when they really just want to feel better and be stronger. Weightlifting has kind of been all about bodybuilding, which shouldn't really be, because it's not what most people want when they lift weight, and it's definitely not sustainable. And bodybuilding won't even get you laid more often.
21 years faithful, and I run a 6-minute mile. My testimony, I'm nothing but pure, and you like scrawny guys.
Also, if you train just for looks, you'll never be satisfied, because you'll continue to compare yourself to someone else when you hit a new height. And that is why fitness models, influencers, and bodybuilders, even though they look jacked and lean, they are one of the most insecure people you'll ever meet. Many of them struggle with poor body image despite their looks. So let's get this straight. Your goal isn't to be a bodybuilder, it isn't to get a six-pack, it isn't to get shredded. Your real goal should be moving better, feeling stronger, and having more confidence in your day-to-day life. That is what truly matters, and not posting some cringe shirtless mirror selfies that drains time and energy and sanity. So those are the 3 best exercises for beginners to build a strong back. Stick with them consistently for 12 to 16 weeks, and you should be able to level up. You should be able to do pull-ups instead of pull-downs, barbell rows instead of row machines, and deadlift instead of hyperextension. But you need to focus on building that foundation first. And if you want to learn how to do these exercises, or whatever exercises you would like to do in the gym correctly, check out my free exercise library for free video walkthrough. And if you want one-to-one coaching with me, whether it's for building muscle, losing fat, or both, second link in the description to learn more about that. And if you want to do it on your own, completely fair, no worries. I hope this video gave you a lot of clarity and helped a little bit. If you're serious about losing fat though, you should check out this video. In this video, I ranked the most popular fat loss method from A to F tier on how effective they are, and it could save you a lot of time and a lot of frustration. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay healthy, keep trying, and I hope I see you over there. Peace.